Arrival. The sleek obsidian craft sliced through Earth's atmosphere, its hull glowing faintly as it descended towards the planet's surface. Inside, Zorax, the most renowned hunter in the Quilaxian Empire, watched holographic displays flicker with information about his latest hunting ground. His mandibles clicked with anticipation as he absorbed details about the dominant species of this backwater world. Humans, bipedal mammals, technologically primitive by galactic standards, but surprisingly resilient and adaptable. Zorax's compound eyes gleamed as he considered the challenge they might present. After centuries of hunting the most dangerous creatures across 1,000 worlds, he craved something different, something unpredictable. The ship touched down silently in a dense forest, cloaking technology rendering it invisible to Earth's primitive detection systems. Zorax activated his exosuit, feeling it mold to his insectoid body like a second skin. He stepped out onto soft, loamy soil, his senses immediately assaulted by the rich tapestry of life surrounding him. Oxygen-nitrogen atmosphere, gravity slightly stronger than his homeworld, foliage dense and varied. Zorax's antennae twitched, sampling the air and analyzing countless organic compounds. His hunting mask overlaid his vision with spectral data, highlighting heat signatures of nearby creatures. He moved through the forest with practiced stealth, every step calculated to minimize disturbance. Small animals scattered at his approach, their primitive instincts recognizing a top predator even if their eyes couldn't perceive him. Zorax paid them no mind. He was after bigger game. As night fell, the hunter found a suitable vantage point atop a hill overlooking a small human settlement. Lights twinkled in the darkness, and even from this distance, he could hear the faint sounds of their activities. Zorax settled in to observe, his patience honed by countless hunts across the galaxy. Hours passed as he studied the humans' patterns and behaviors. They were social creatures, gathering in groups and communicating constantly. Their technology was crude, but showed signs of rapid advancement. Zorax noted their use of wheeled vehicles, artificial lighting, and primitive information networks. Most intriguing were their diverse physical characteristics. Unlike many species he had encountered, humans displayed a wide range of sizes, colors, and shapes. This variety hinted at a genetic adaptability that piqued Zorax's interest. Perhaps these creatures would offer more sport than he had initially anticipated. As dawn approached, Zorax prepared to move on. He had gathered enough initial data to begin planning his hunt. But just as he was about to activate his cloaking device, movement at the edge of the settlement caught his attention. A solitary human emerged from one of the dwellings, carrying some kind of tool. It moved with purpose towards the nearby forest, unaware of the alien predator observing its every move. Zorax's mandibles clicked in anticipation. Here was an opportunity for a closer look at his prey. Silently, he followed the human into the woods. The creature, male, according to the biological data scrolling across Zorax's vision, seemed to be searching for something. It stopped periodically to examine plants, occasionally harvesting leaves or roots and placing them in a carried container. Zorax watched, fascinated by the human's methodical approach. This wasn't mere foraging. The male was selecting specific plants with discernment. The alien hunter's respect for his quarry grew slightly. These humans were not simply instinct-driven animals. They possessed intelligence and knowledge of their environment. Suddenly, the human froze. Its head turned slowly, eyes scanning the forest. For a moment, Zorax wondered if his cloaking technology had failed. But no, the human's gaze passed over him without recognition. Still, it was clear the creature sensed something in this. The human's behavior changed instantly. It moved with greater caution, its movements becoming quieter and more deliberate. Zorax observed with approval as the human utilized natural cover, demonstrating an innate understanding of stealth tactics. This display of adaptability and awareness solidified Zorax's decision. Humans would make worthy prey indeed. The hunt he had traveled across the galaxy promised to be everything he had hoped for and more. As the human hurried back towards the settlement, Zorax retreated to his ship. He had much to prepare before the hunt could truly begin. Weapons needed calibration, traps required setting, and he wanted to observe a few more human settlements before selecting his initial targets. Back inside his craft, Zorax reviewed the data collected during his first foray onto Earth. The humans' combination of intelligence, adaptability, and physical endurance set them apart from many species he had hunted before. They lacked the natural weapons or defenses of some prey, but their tool use and social structures compensated for these shortcomings. Moreover, their sheer numbers and distribution across the planet's surface presented an intriguing challenge. Zorax could hunt for years without exhausting the possibilities this world offered. The thought sent a thrill of excitement through his avian nervous system. As his ship rose silently into the air, cloaked from human detection, Zorax began formulating his strategy. He would start small, testing the humans' capabilities and responses. Then gradually he would escalate the hunt, pushing them to their limits and beyond. Little did the inhabitants of Earth know, but the greatest challenge their species had ever faced had just arrived. Their ingenuity, courage, and will to survive would be tested as never before, and Zorax, the galaxy's most fearsome hunter, would be there to witness it all. The hunt was about to begin. First contact. The first signs were subtle. A hiker gone missing in the Appalachian wilderness. Unusual animal behavior in the Siberian taiga. Strange lights reported over the Amazon rainforest. Individually, these incidents barely registered on the global scale, but for those paying attention, a pattern was emerging. Dr. Elena Reyes, xenobiologist at the SETI Institute, stared at her computer screen, brow furrowed in concentration. For weeks, she had been correlating reports of anomalous events from around the world. What had started as a hunch was rapidly evolving into something far more significant and terrifying. Dr. Reyes? Her assistant, Jack, knocked on the office door. "You might want to see this." Elena followed Jack to the main laboratory, where a group of researchers huddled around a bank of monitors. On the screens, satellite imagery showed a peculiar heat signature moving at impossible speeds across the African savanna. "It's not a glitch," one of the technicians said, anticipating Elena's question. "We've triple-checked the data. Whatever this is, it's real, and it's like nothing we've ever seen before." Elena's mind raced. The object's speed and heat profile defied explanation by any known terrestrial technology, which left only one possibility, the one she had simultaneously hoped for and dreaded throughout her entire career. "We need to alert the authorities," she said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her system, "and prepare for a press conference. The world needs to know what's happening." Halfway across the world, in a small village in northern Thailand, Somtay Ratanakul knew something was very wrong in the jungle. As the village's most experienced hunter, he had an almost supernatural connection to the forest, and right now every instinct he possessed was screaming danger. The wildlife had gone quiet, not the normal hush that fell before a storm, but an eerie, unnatural silence that set Somtay's teeth on edge. He gripped his rifle tighter, eyes scanning the thick foliage for any sign of movement. A twig snapped behind him. Somtay whirled, weapon raised, only to find himself face to face with his youngest son, Aran. "Father," Aran whispered, eyes wide with fear. "Something's out there. I saw it, just for a second, like a shadow, but wrong." Somtay nodded grimly. He had seen it too. A fleeting glimpse of something that didn't belong in this world, something that moved with a predator's grace and left an aura of otherworldly menace in its wake. "Go back to the village," Somtay told his son. "Warn the elders. Tell them to prepare for." His words were cut short by a sound that chilled him to his very core. It was like nothing he had ever heard before, a high-pitched, undulating shriek that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Aaron bolted, sprinting back towards the village. Somtay raised his rifle, turning slowly in a circle, trying to pinpoint the source of that unearthly cry. The attack, when it came, was devastatingly swift. A blur of motion, a flash of metal, and Sumche found himself disarmed and pinned against a massive tree trunk. His attacker shimmered into view, its form solidifying from what seemed like thin air. Sumche's eyes widened in disbelief. The creature before him was like nothing he had ever seen or imagined. Insectoid in appearance, yet with an intelligence burning in its compound eyes that spoke of an advanced alien consciousness. The being studied Sumche for a long moment, mandibles clicking in what might have been curiosity or amusement. Then, with a movement almost too fast to follow, it released the human hunter and vanished back into the jungle. Sumche slumped to the ground, his heart pounding. He knew with absolute certainty that he had just experienced humanity's first true contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. And somehow, he also knew that this encounter was only the beginning. In Washington, D.C., the mood inside the White House Situation Room was tense. President Abigail Chen listened intently as her advisors presented the latest information on what was rapidly becoming a global crisis. Madam President, the Secretary of Defense began, we now have confirmed reports of extraterrestrial activity on every continent. The entity or entities appear to be using some form of advanced cloaking technology, making direct observation extremely difficult. What about civilian casualties? President Chen asked, her voice tight with concern. The CIA director cleared his throat. So far, fatalities have been minimal. But the pattern is clear. This alien is hunting humans for sport. It's toying with us, testing our capabilities. And our military response? A heavy silence fell over the room. Finally, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs spoke up. Madam President, we're effectively fighting blind. Our most advanced weapons systems can't lock onto these creatures. Conventional tactics are useless against an enemy we can barely detect, let alone engage. President Chen absorbed this information, her mind racing through potential scenarios and outcomes. The situation was unprecedented in human history. How does one prepare for an adversary so far beyond current understanding? Dr. Reyes, she said, turning to the xenobiologist who had been brought in as a special advisor. In your expert opinion, what are we dealing with here? Elena took a deep breath. Madam President, based on all available data, we're facing a highly advanced alien species with technology far beyond our own. Their motives appear to be recreational. They view us as game animals, not as a civilization to be conquered or destroyed outright. So we're being hunted, the president said flatly. Yes, ma'am, but there's something else to consider. The fact that they're engaging us in this manner suggests they see us as worthy opponents, challenging prey. That implies a level of respect, however twisted it might be. President Chen nodded slowly, a plan beginning to form in her mind. Then we need to prove them right. Humanity has faced existential threats before, plagues, world wars, environmental disasters. Each time, we've adapted and overcome. This will be no different. She stood, her posture radiating determination. Ladies and gentlemen, as of this moment, we are at war. Not against a nation or an ideology, but against an alien force that threatens our very existence. I want every resource we have directed towards understanding and counteracting this threat. We will not go quietly into the night. We will show these aliens, and ourselves, exactly what humanity is capable of when pushed to the brink. As the room erupted into a flurry of activity, President Chen turned to stare out the window at the Washington Monument gleaming in the distance. The symbol of human achievement and perseverance had never seemed more poignant. The hunt had begun, but humans, as they had proven countless times throughout history, were far from helpless prey. The coming days would test the limits of human ingenuity, courage, and determination. And President Chen was determined to ensure that humanity would rise to meet this unprecedented challenge. Little did she know, on the other side of the planet, Zorax was watching human communications with growing interest. The hunt was proving even more intriguing than he had anticipated. These humans were rallying, organizing, preparing to fight back. The alien hunter's mandibles clicked in what passed for a smile among his species. Yes, this would be a hunt worthy of legend. Let the games truly begin. The hunt begins. As dawn broke over the Rocky Mountains, Sarah Hawkins crouched behind a fallen log, her breath forming small clouds in the crisp morning air. The former Army Ranger turned wilderness guide had spent the last week tracking something that defied explanation. Now, as she peered through her binoculars at the valley below, she knew she was close to answers. A shimmer in the air caught her attention. For a split second, she glimpsed a form that seemed to bend light itself before it vanished again. Sarah's heart raced. This was it, the creature she'd been hunting. Or rather, the creature that had been hunting humanity. Carefully, she reached for the modified thermal imaging device strapped to her vest. It was an experimental piece of tech, rushed into production after conventional methods proved useless against the alien threat. As she switched it on, her world transformed into a sea of cool blues and greens, with a single bright red humanoid shape moving through the trees below. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Finally, they could see their enemy. Halfway across the world, in the bustling metropolis of Tokyo, Kenji Tanaka worked feverishly in his lab at the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology. The young robotics engineer had been recruited for a top-secret government project aimed at combating the alien menace. Tanaka-san, his colleague, Dr. Yuki Watanabe, called out, "The latest simulation results are in." Kenji rushed over to her workstation, eyes widening as he took in the data scrolling across the screen. Their prototype defensive drone swarm was showing promise. By utilizing advanced AI and swarming algorithms, they hoped to create a system agile and unpredictable enough to counter the aliens' superior technology. "We're close," Kenji muttered, more to himself than to Yuki. "But will it be enough? And will we have it ready in time?" A distant explosion rocked the building, answering his question with chilling immediacy. The hunt had reached Tokyo. In orbit high above the Earth, aboard the International Space Station, Colonel Dmitry Volkov peered out of the cupola module, his trained eye scanning the planet's surface. As a cosmonaut with over 1,000 days in space, Dmitry thought he'd seen everything. He was wrong. A faint distortion caught his attention, moving across the Indian Ocean at impossible speeds. He quickly activated the station's newly installed tracking systems, specially designed to detect the alien craft. "Houston, ISS," Dmitry called over the radio. "We have a confirmed sighting. Target is moving southeast, approaching the Australian coast. Speed is off the charts." As he relayed the information, Dmitry couldn't help but feel a mix of awe and terror. The vastness of space had always made him feel small, but never as much as in this moment, watching an alien predator toy with his home planet. Back in Washington, D.C., President Chen stood before a wall of screens in the newly established Global Defense Command Center. Each display showed a different part of the world, all marked with red icons indicating alien activity. "What's our status?" she demanded, her voice taut with tension. General Maria Ruiz, newly appointed head of the Anti-Alien Task Force, stepped forward. "Madam President, we're seeing increased activity worldwide. The aliens, or alien, we're still not sure how many we're dealing with, seem to be escalating their attacks. Casualties." General Ruiz's face darkened. "Rising, ma'am, but something's odd. They're not just killing indiscriminately. It's like they're testing us, probing our defenses, analyzing our responses." Dr. Elena Reyes, who had become a fixture in these briefings, spoke up. "It fits with our theory, Madam President. This isn't an invasion, it's a hunt. They're pushing us, seeing how we react under pressure." President Chen nodded grimly. "And how are we reacting, Doctor?" "Better than they might have expected," Elena replied, a hint of pride in her voice. "Reports are coming in from around the world of humans fighting back, adapting to the threat. We're seeing incredible acts of bravery and ingenuity." As if on cue, one of the screens lit up with breaking news. a group of Australian Aboriginal trackers had successfully led a team of special forces to an alien hideout in the outback. The ensuing battle had been fierce, but for the first time, humanity had scored a decisive victory. A cheer went up around the room, quickly stifled as professionals remembered where they were. But President Chen allowed herself a small smile. It was a start. General Ruiz, I want every military and scientific resource we have focused on replicating this success. Dr. Reyes, coordinate with our allies. I want the best minds on the planet working on countermeasures. As the room burst into activity, President Chen turned back to the screens, her resolve hardening. Humanity was bloodied, but far from beaten. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, Zorax crouched on a high branch, his alien senses taking in every detail of the lush environment around him. The hunt was progressing even better than he had hoped. These humans were proving to be worthy prey indeed. Their tenacity impressed him. Where lesser species might have crumbled in the face of a superior predator, humans seemed to thrive on the challenge. They were adapting, innovating, fighting back with a ferocity that sent thrills of excitement through Zorax's alien nervous system. He had just finished processing the data from his latest hunt, a group of human warriors in a desert environment who had displayed remarkable skill and courage. One of them had even managed to wound him, a feat unprecedented in Zorax's long hunting career. As he prepared for his next excursion, Zorax felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries: uncertainty. These humans were full of surprises. For the first time, he wondered if he might have underestimated his prey. The thought should have concerned him. Instead, it filled him with a renewed sense of purpose. This was turning into the hunt of a lifetime. In a secret facility beneath the Nevada desert, Dr. Marcus Wong stared at the alien artifact floating in a containment field before him. It was a piece of technology recovered from one of the hunters' killed drones, the first tangible evidence of extraterrestrial origin they had managed to obtain. "What have you got for me, Doctor?" asked Colonel Sarah Hawkins, who had been reassigned to oversee this critical research project. Marcus shook his head in amazement. It's beyond anything we've ever seen, Colonel. The energy readings alone are off the charts. If we can crack this, it could revolutionize our understanding of physics." Sarah nodded, her expression grim. "And give us a fighting chance against these bastards. How long?" "Weeks, maybe months to fully understand it," Marcus replied. "But we might be able to reverse engineer some basic applications sooner." "Make it happen, Doctor," Sarah said, her voice filled with determination. "The fate of our species may depend on it." As she left the lab, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were in a race against time. The alien hunters were escalating their attacks, pushing humanity to its limits. But with every encounter, humans were learning, adapting, growing stronger. The hunt had begun in earnest, but the hunters were about to discover that their prey was far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. Resistance forms. The abandoned steel mill on the outskirts of Pittsburgh had seen better days, its rusted structures a testament to a bygone industrial era. But tonight, it hummed with new purpose as an unlikely group gathered in its cavernous interior. Dr. Elena Reyes stood before a makeshift command center, addressing a diverse assembly of individuals from around the world. Scientists, soldiers, hackers, and survivalists, all brought together by a common enemy and a desperate plan. "Welcome to Operation Prometheus," Elena began, her voice echoing in the vast space. "Each of you was chosen for your unique skills and your unwavering commitment to humanity's survival. Together, we're going to turn the tables on our alien hunters." She gestured to a holographic display showing a global map dotted with red indicators. "The aliens have been studying us, learning our weaknesses. But in doing so, they've revealed patterns of their own. Thanks to the brilliant work of our analysts, we've identified several likely locations for their next attacks." A murmur ran through the crowd as the implications sank in. For the first time since the hunt began, humanity had a chance to be proactive rather than reactive. "Our mission is clear," Elena continued. We're going to set traps of our own. We're going to study them, learn their weaknesses, and find a way to fight back. The road ahead will be dangerous, but I believe in each and every one of you. Together, we will show these aliens that humans are not just prey, we're the most dangerous predators this galaxy has ever seen. As the assembly broke into smaller groups to begin planning, Elena felt a mix of hope and trepidation. They were embarking on a risky path, but it was their best chance for survival. In the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, a small team moved silently through the underbrush. Led by Sarah Hawkins, the group consisted of an elite force of trackers, soldiers, and scientists, each equipped with the latest in anti-alien technology. Sarah held up a hand, signaling the team to halt. Her modified thermal imaging device had picked up a faint signature moving erratically through the trees ahead. She switched to a different spectrum, and there it was, the telltale shimmer of an alien's cloaking device. "Target acquired," she whispered into her comm unit. "All teams, move into position. Remember, we need it alive." The plan was audacious, bordering on insane. They weren't just going to fight the alien, they were going to capture it. The potential intelligence gain was enormous, but so were the risks. As the team spread out to encircle their quarry, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come in such a short time. The experimental tech they carried was a testament to human ingenuity in the face of overwhelming odds. Adaptive camouflage, sound dampeners, and weapons designed to penetrate alien armor, all developed in a fraction of the time it would normally take. A twig snapped, and suddenly all hell broke loose. The alien, realizing it was surrounded, launched into a blistering attack. Its movements were blindingly fast, its weapons far beyond human technology. But the team had trained for this moment. Sarah barked orders as she dodged a plasma blast, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Delta Team, deploy the EMP net. Gamma, lay down suppressing fire." A shimmering web of energy expanded outward, momentarily disrupting the aliens' cloaking and weapon systems. In that instant of vulnerability, tranquilizer darts found their mark. The alien staggered, its movements becoming erratic. But even wounded and outnumbered, it was far from defeated. With a roar that shook the trees, it charged at Sarah, mandibles clicking in fury. Time seemed to slow. Sarah's training took over. She sidestepped the alien's rush, using its momentum against it. As it stumbled past, she slapped a neural disruptor onto its exoskeleton, a device reverse-engineered from recovered alien tech. The effect was immediate. The alien's movements became uncoordinated, its fearsome strength sapped. As it collapsed to the forest floor, Sarah allowed herself a moment of exultation. They had done it. They had captured one of the hunters. "Package secured," she reported, her voice tight with controlled excitement. "Prep for immediate evac. And someone tell Dr. Reyes. We've got a lot to talk about." In a hidden bunker beneath the streets of Tokyo, Kenji Tanaka worked feverishly on his drone swarm. The latest field tests had shown promise, but there was still room for improvement. His fingers flew over the keyboard, making minute adjustments to the A's decision-making algorithms. A commotion outside his lab drew his attention. Dr. Yuki Watanabe burst in, her eyes wide with excitement. "Tanaka-san, we've just received word. They've captured one." Kenji's mind raced with the implications. Alive. Yuki nodded, a rare smile breaking across her usually serious face. "Alive and secure. They're transporting it to a research facility as we speak." For a moment, Kenji allowed himself to feel a glimmer of hope. With a live specimen to study, their chances of developing effective countermeasures had just increased exponentially. But he knew the fight was far from over. "We need to accelerate our timeline," he said, turning back to his work with renewed vigor. "If they've captured one of the hunters, the others will retaliate. We need to be ready." On the International Space Station, Colonel Dmitry Volkov peered intently at the data streaming across his console. The station's advanced sensors, augmented with technology derived from studying alien debris, were painting a worrying picture. "Houston, this is ISS," he called, his normally stoic voice tinged with urgency. "We're detecting multiple anomalies entering Earth's atmosphere. It looks like reinforcements." As he watched the alien ships descend towards his home planet, Mitri felt a chill run down his spine. The hunters were escalating the game, and humanity's victory in capturing one of their own had not gone unnoticed. In the Nevada research facility, Dr. Marcus Wong stood before the containment chamber housing their alien prisoner. Despite the creature's fearsome appearance, Marcus couldn't help but feel a sense of scientific wonder. Here, right in front of him, was the key to understanding their adversary. "Begin the scanning sequence," he instructed his team. "I want every piece of data we can get. Biological, technological, everything. Our survival may depend on what we learn here." As the machines whirred to life, Marcus noticed something unexpected. The alien was watching him, its compound eyes reflecting an intelligence that was undeniably sentient. For a brief moment, researcher and subject regarded each other with mutual curiosity. Then the moment passed, and Marcus refocused on his work. There would be time for philosophical ponderings later. Right now, they needed answers, and they needed them fast. Back in Washington, President Chen received the latest briefing with a mixture of hope and trepidation. The capture of an alien hunter was a significant victory, but the arrival of reinforcements threatened to undo all their progress. "Madam President," General Ruse reported, "our orbital defenses are on high alert, and we're mobilizing every available resource to meet this new threat. But I have to be honest, we're stretched thin." Chen nodded grimly. "What about the resistance groups? Dr. Reyes' Prometheus operation?" "They're our wild card," the general admitted. "Unconventional, but effective. They might be our best hope for surviving what's coming." The president stood, moving to the window to gaze out at the city below. In the distance, she could see construction crews working tirelessly to fortify key buildings against potential attacks. The sight filled her with a fierce pride in human resilience. "Then we give them whatever they need," she declared. "Humanity has come too far to falter now. We've proven we can stand up to these hunters. Now it's time to show them that we can win." As night fell over Washington, lights blazed in government buildings and military installations. Around the world, similar scenes played out as humanity prepared for the next phase of the conflict. The hunters had escalated the game, but they were about to learn that humans were far from helpless prey. The resistance was no longer just forming, it was ready to fight back. Turning the tables, the underground facility hummed with activity as scientists and engineers worked tirelessly around the captured alien hunter. Dr. Marcus Wong stood at the center of it all, his eyes gleaming with a mixture of exhaustion and excitement. For weeks, they had been studying their prisoner, unlocking secrets that promised to revolutionize human technology and, more importantly, give them a fighting chance against the alien threat. Dr. Wong, a young researcher, called out, her voice trembling with excitement. "We've cracked it. The alien's neural interface, we can access it." Marcus rushed over, his heart pounding. This was the breakthrough they'd been waiting for. If they could tap into the alien's mind, they might gain invaluable intelligence on their enemy's plans and capabilities. As they initiated the connection, a flood of alien thoughts and memories cascaded through their systems. Marcus gasped as he began to understand the true nature of their adversary. "My God," he whispered, "they're not just hunters. They're collectors. Earth is part of some vast, galactic game preserve." The implications were staggering, but among the terror of this revelation, Marcus saw an opportunity. If Earth was part of a preserve, there had to be rules, limits. And where there were limits, there was hope. High above the Earth, aboard a cloaked alien command ship, Zorax seethed with a mixture of rage and begrudging respect. The loss of one of their own to the humans was unprecedented. These prey were proving far more resourceful than any species they had encountered before. His second-in-command, Krovax, approached cautiously. "High Hunter, the reinforcements are in position. Shall we begin the next phase of the hunt?" Zorax's mandibles clicked in thought. The humans had changed the game, and honor demanded they respond in kind. No, he decided, we will give them time to prepare. Let us see what these fascinating creatures do next. As he turned back to the view screen showing the blue-green world below, Zorak felt something he hadn't experienced in millennia: genuine excitement. This hunt was becoming legendary indeed. In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, Sarah Hawkins led a diverse team of resistance fighters through the dense undergrowth. Thanks to the intelligence gleaned from the captured alien, they now knew the location of a hidden hunter base. Remember, Sarah whispered to her team, we're not just fighting for ourselves anymore. Every bit of their tech we can capture or destroy weakens their hold on Earth. The group moved silently, their movements masked by adaptive camouflage reverse-engineered from alien technology. As they approached the clearing where the base was hidden, Sarah felt a surge of pride. Humans from every corner of the globe, once divided by borders and ideologies, now stood united against a common threat. Drones deployed, one of her team members reported. Sarah nodded, watching as Kenji Tanaka's swarm of microscopic robots filled the air. These tiny marvels of human ingenuity were their secret weapon, capable of infiltrating and disrupting alien systems on a molecular level. Commence Operation Trojan, Sarah ordered. The air shimmered as the alien base's cloaking field faltered, revealing a structure that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Without hesitation, the human strike team surged forward. The battle that followed was unlike anything in human history. Advanced alien weaponry clashed with hybrid human-alien tech. Sarah's team moved with practiced precision, their tactics honed by weeks of studying their enemy. As she ducked under a plasma blast and returned fire with her modified rifle, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. Months ago, they were helpless prey. Now they were giving the galaxy's apex predators a run for their money. In Washington, D.C., President Chen stood in the newly constructed war room, surrounded by holograms showing real-time updates from around the globe. The alien hunters had resumed their attacks with increased ferocity, but humanity was no longer caught off guard. Madam President, General Ruse reported, Operation Trojan is a success. We've neutralized 3 alien bases and captured a wealth of technology. Chen nodded, allowing herself a small smile. And civilian casualties? Minimal. Elena Reyes chimed in, her hologram flickering slightly. Our early warning systems are working. We're evacuating potential target areas faster than the aliens can strike. Excellent work, all of you, Chen said, her voice filled with determination. But we can't rest on our laurels. Dr. Reyes, what's the status of Project Nebula? Elena's expression turned serious. We're close, Madam President. If our calculations are correct, we'll be ready to deploy within 48 hours. Project Nebula was humanity's most ambitious undertaking yet, a plan to turn Earth's atmosphere into a vast planetary defense system. If it worked, it would level the playing field like nothing before. Make it happen, Chen ordered. The tide is turning, but we need to press our advantage. As the meeting concluded, Chen couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey of the past few months. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and was emerging stronger, more united, and more technologically advanced than ever before. In orbit, Colonel Dmitry Volkov maneuvered the newly christened ISS Gagarin into position. The ship, a marvel of human-alien hybrid technology, represented humanity's first true foray into advanced space warfare. All systems nominal, his co-pilot reported. Weapons charged and ready. Dmitry allowed himself a grim smile. When he'd first spotted the alien ships from the ISS, he never imagined he'd be out here, ready to engage them on equal terms. For Earth, he murmured, before opening a channel to the rest of the hastily assembled human fleet. All ships, this is Gagarin Actual. Prepare to engage on my mark. The vast emptiness of space was suddenly alive with streaks of energy as human and alien ships clashed in Earth's orbit. Dimitri's hands flew over the controls, his years of training combined with the intuitive alien interface, allowing him to perform maneuvers that would have been impossible just months ago. As the battle raged, Dmitri realized with a start that they were winning. Humanity, against all odds, was pushing back the alien armada. Back in the Amazon, Sarah's team had secured the alien base. As they combed through the structure, gathering intelligence and technology, she received an urgent communication. "Hawkins, this is Wong. We've made a critical discovery." Sarah listened intently as Marcus explained what they learned from the captured alien's neural interface. The revelation that Earth was part of a cosmic game preserve changed everything. "So there are rules," Sarah mused. "Limits to what they can do." "Exactly," Marcus confirmed. "And we think we found a way to use those rules against them. We're calling it the Sanctuary Protocol." As Marcus outlined the plan, Sarah felt a surge of hope. For the first time since the hunt began, she could see a clear path to victory. "Transmit the data to all resistance cells," she ordered. "It's time to end this hunt, on our terms." Across the globe, humans fought back with renewed vigor. Armed with advanced technology and a deeper understanding of their enemy, they were no longer easy prey. Cities that had once been hunting grounds became fortresses. Alien raids were met with fierce resistance and cunning traps. In labs and workshops, human scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Each captured piece of alien tech, each scrap of information, brought them closer to turning the tables completely. As Project Nebula neared completion and the Sanctuary Protocol was put into motion, there was a palpable sense that humanity stood on the brink of a new era. They had been hunted, pushed to the brink of extinction, but had emerged stronger and more united than ever before. The final confrontation loomed on the horizon. But now, as Zorax and his fellow hunters were about to discover, humanity was done being prey. The hunters were about to become the hunted.